People don't slow down long enough to see the beauty of everything that's around them. As I said, that's what Michael helped me to do. I slowed down to see the beauty of everything that's around me when I was trying to build the business, taking care of him and everything. What they told me was Michael had 3 months to live, and I just couldn't believe it. This is the man I was married to and known for 30 years. I see myself in you as well as you can see yourself in me. I was there once. And that's where the love comes in. Because if you can see yourself in someone else, you're not going to hate yourself. You're going to only love yourself, right?
Hey, this is Raina Campbell, your Chief Dream Driver, and welcome to the No Parking Podcast, where through conversations and discussions with creators like yourself, we'll find interesting approaches to help you take your dreams out of park, put them in drive, and ride towards success. Hey, Dream Drivers. Welcome to episode 164 of the Dreams and Drive podcast. And today, our guest is Lois Hines, the co-founder of Tropic Isle Living, a company she launched with her late husband, Michael Hines, at the age of 21. Now, if you don't know Tropic Isle Living, it is a health, beauty, and wellness brand that specializes in products that contain all natural ingredients sourced from her homeland and my homeland of Jamaica. And on this episode, Lois is going to take us along for a ride. She talks about the early days of Tropic Isle, to growing distribution, to social media's effect on the business, and eventually the moment that would change her and her family's life forever. And even through tragedy, Lois's outlook on life and commitment to growing herself and her company while still giving back to the community is ever present. Lois is going to talk about how we as dream drivers can stay disciplined, be diligent in our personal hustles, pay homage to our culture and roots, and always remember that anything is possible. And one of the reasons why I named this episode Growth Comes from Challenges is because I want us to reflect on this idea of you don't always know what the ending is going to look like when you go through the tunnel, right? But you always have to remember that there is a light and we're going towards a light. Thank you to the Tropic Isle Living team. We are going to be doing a fabulous giveaway. One dream driver is going to win their signature Jamaican black castor oil 4-ounce bottle. So if you want to enter to win, just go to dreamsanddrive.com/win. And you're going to learn all about the benefits of Jamaican black castor oil. So if you're interested, please enter the giveaway. One last thing, you guys know I love when you share that you're listening to this episode. So if something piques your interest or if you just feel inspired, please tag us and mention us on social. We are Dreams and Drive across the board, and you can use the hashtag Dreams and Drive as well. Hi, Lois. Welcome to this episode of Dreams and Drive. I am so excited to have you on today.
Thank you so much for having me on Dreams in Drive. I love the title. Absolutely. I do. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's start it off by asking you this question then. When you hear the word dream driver, right? What's the first thing that comes to mind?
Oh my God. Anything is possible. Anything is possible. Because I'm living my dream and I'm driving my own bus.
I love that. Anything is possible. So let's keep that as like a theme as we talk about your life and just everything else that we'll talk about today. But I love to start interviews going back in time. So I want you to close your eyes and, open them again and pretend you are back home in Mandeville, right? Where you grew up, Jamaica, Mandeville, Jamaica. What was inspiring you back then as a child, Lois?
I see beauty in everything, especially in nature. And, I remembered going and doing, we call it hunting birds in Jamaica or guava hunting or anything like that. And I would always stop and pause as to my surroundings and all the colors on the trees and so forth and so on, as well as the time that I usually spend with my grandparents. And grandparents are just amazing. So what inspired me as a child was I saw beauty in the simplest of things. And it was even more beautiful in the totality of its perfection and its imperfection and the randomness of things. That's what inspired me.
Did you have any idea, or were there any early dreams of what you thought the future Lois was going to be when she grew up?
Oh, my goodness. I I saw myself definitely as a businesswoman, business in doing what I don't know. But all I knew is I knew how to put things together. Even as a child, my mother always said, Lord, why you have to dress like that? But it looked good though. Okay, I will explain. Lord, why do you have to dress like that? But it looks great. So I've always had like a knack of putting things together that people think it's really odd to put together, but I made it work. I made it work.
Was there anything about Jamaican culture that you think might have influenced you to want to be a businesswoman at a young age?
We in Jamaica, we're very big on education. And, my parents always taught me to dream big anyway. You know what I mean? And how very, 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 very important education was. And, there's a saying in Jamaica, you need to work hard, and when you work hard, you reap the rewards. And that's what I grew up on. And not only that, my father was an entrepreneur himself. And, you learn by example. My father would leave the house and come back, very late. And then he would kind of share with us as to what's going on and why he works so hard so he can give us a better life. So he instilled that in us, what hard work can give you. And the rewards that you can reap from just by working hard and putting in the time. I don't see anybody sitting on a rock will be accomplishing anything. If you according to my son, if you stand still or if you sit still for a very long time, that is death. So you got to keep it moving. And that's what Jamaicans do. We just keep it moving. We work hard. We know if we don't work hard, we're not going to make the money. End of that story.
Right. And nobody's, mommy not going to give it to you either. Right. So that's the one thing I had to learn. My parents gave us, I remember this decision they made us make at like maybe 8-9 years old. So back in the day, Cartoon Network wasn't part of like the normal cable package. Right.
Oh, no. You didn't even have toys.
And my dad said to me, you could either have the regular cable or your weekly allowance or whatever is going to be less. And so me and my sister, we had to come together and we're like, do we really need to watch Scooby-Doo? No, we do not.
And so you learned the art of negotiation. I remember when I was growing up, we had one doll for $5. We had one doll, right? Named Julie. Oh God, I hope my sister's not going to kill me. I hope they don't listen to this. Listen to me. And we had one doll because, things were tight sometimes in Jamaica. You know what I mean? So this one doll, we had to work out how we are going to share this doll and the time allotment. And we were all very small. So what were we learning at the time? How to work together and what really matters. I remember, Sunday we'd watch Sunday matinee. During the week, we couldn't even watch TV. So you had to use your brain. We had to come up with clever things to make up games with ourselves. And we didn't know at the time that we were just learning about creativity. Yeah. And creativity is boundless. So if you don't use your brain, trust me, you will lose it. You will lose it,
Yeah, and respect. That's something else that I feel like is really part of the culture, too. I remember my house was the house that you could not call my house and not say, good afternoon, Mrs. Campbell.
There you go.
Or good morning. My mom would literally hang up on my friends calling my house. So I had to teach my friends and say, when you call someone, you say, good night, good morning, may I please speak to? And it was just something that people knew. When you call the Campbell household, you had to address who you're talking to, and you had to then, have your manners. And I feel like those are just tenets of what it makes to be just not even a good person, but in business, there are things that I look up to now that I'm so happy my parents instilled in me.
And then at the time you're like, oh my God, why do I have to do this?
Yes.
Other people are not doing it, so forth and so on. But I don't think you would get to Princeton if your mother and father didn't instill those values in you.
Yeah.
How to navigate through the course of, your life and your challenges. And the other thing that in Jamaica we like to say, and I hope you remember this or your parents taught you this, and I'm going to speak Jamaican patois. Turn your hand, make fashion. Have you ever heard of that saying?
I think I know what it means. Tell me.
Right. Meaning that if you don't have the resource, okay, all right, and say you have an egg and you have some callaloo out there and you want to make like some breakfast, okay, and you only have the egg and the callaloo and whatever else, think about what you can create to make it work. And there you go. You can have a callaloo omelet.
Listen, I might go outside and pick my mom's callaloo and make that tomorrow.
You see, so that's what we say, turn your hand, make fashion, because, we're in the Caribbean, and so certain things we imported, obviously, and certain things, was scarce at the time. So, my mother always said, you have to turn your hand, make fashion.
Yep.
You understand me? Meaning that whatever you have, see the resource that you have, you can use it to your benefit. Okay?
So let's take some time now. We're in Jamaica. Let's travel up the east coast of the United States of America to a place called New York City. And I was debating as I was doing my research for this episode. This could be a love story. It is a love story that I just feel is so beautiful. But let's go to New York City, 1992, I believe, when you and your husband, I feel like I'm skipping over so much of the details, right? But this episode could be like 3-5 hours if we get into every detail.
That is true.
Let's get to the part where you and your husband decided to do something.
My husband was always an entrepreneur, period. End of that story. It was in his DNA. And we were working at the time at Sundial Urban Products in the Bronx. And, Brother Rashawn, who was our mentor and our employer at the time, encouraged each and every one of us to do something with our roots and culture because it can make us money. You understand me? Mm-hmm. And that was the money wasn't even the focus part, but just make a difference. So Brother Rashawn gave myself and Michael the idea of doing the Jamaican black castor oil. And we had a company before that where we were importing fish from Jamaica. And when we found out that fish was farm raised, we dropped that. We walked away from a company that was making $1 million because we had to stand in our own truth. And when Michael decided that we're going to walk away, I said, okay, honey, are you sure? Because that's it. We put all this work. We went on WLIB. We did all of these things. And he said, yes. So we started the Tropic Isle Living company with Jamaican black castor oil. I loved his tenacity and I believed in him. And looking back, we were so young. I was 22.
22, wow.
I was 22 and he was 27 at the time. And he said, I wanted to work for myself. And I was just a supportive wife because I loved him. Mm-hmm. I loved him.
What were you guys selling? Just the bottles of castor oil?
Just the Jamaican black castor oil, my child. And let me tell you, the doors were being, closed in our faces, but we trotted on. We started selling the Jamaican black castor oil in health food stores, surprisingly. Mm-hmm. It was in health food stores at first, and we went door to door, and then obviously we started having children, and, we would take turns staying home with the kids. He would go out, during the week and he would do his deliveries and he would come back and I would still be working to sustain our livelihood outside of the house while still supporting as well as pushing the business. And that's a partnership that I don't regret. And sometimes if I sound a little teary, is that, when I look at the sum of my life with this man, it was amazing because he raised me. I've known him since I was 16. So he kind of raised me. We raised each other together and mm-hmm. we grew together, in business, in parenting, in love, even sometimes when it's so difficult. I'm like, oh my God, Michael, I'm married to the business. I'm not married to you. What's going on? But, each of our steps that we do in this life, at some point there is an epiphany where you say, oh my God, now I get it. Because Michael was always teaching me. He said, Lord, there is a world so big and deep inside each of us. And if we get in tune with who we are as people and stand in our own truth and just go ahead and forge and do what we love, mm-hmm. what we can make a difference. And not only make a difference, you can also make money and affect change.
Was there ever any moment early on where you didn't believe in the dream? Because, this is 1992. There wasn't social media. There wasn't this way for you to instantly push the product out to millions of people. Like, what sustained you, although the future was so unknown?
I've never wavered in terms of, what I believe in. Okay. And I remembered 3 o'clock, 1 a.m. one morning, and Michael would wake me up and say, I need to talk to you in the middle of the night, literally. And we would have, meetings, I swear, in the middle of the night. And he woke me up. This was early, very early in the business. And he said, Lloyd, I don't think I'm going to continue. I'm going to sell it. I said, over my dead body. I said, heck no. I said, I know it's hard right now, but something inside me knew that this was going to work. I cannot explain it other than the creator that I absolutely believe in, but I just knew that this was bigger than both of us, and I'm going to hold on to this. So I had to encourage him. It's not that he didn't believe in it. He had a family to support, you see. So he wanted to say it's like, okay, this is not, it's taking its time. I have 2 kids and I have a wife. What do I do? But he still stayed the course. I said, over my dead body, so in between some of our, challenges, he would look like jobs. He'd take jobs, just to kind of pull our resources together. And then while still doing the business, so he'd take jobs at night. Nobody knew that. This is the first time I'm even telling anybody. To sustain us. So we grew. We were a true partnership. So because he stayed home with the children. I worked outside. I came home and I bottled and I labeled on the weekends. We were out there while he stayed home and watched the children, because he said that nobody's going to grow his kids.
What was the family, because I know I'm only asking this because I know how my family is, right? What were your Jamaican family members saying when they knew that the Hines were over here selling bottles of castor oil up and down New York? What was that conversation like?
You know what that conversation was. First of all, why are you selling that stinky oil? Nobody no want buy it. That was one. Michael also graduated with an economics degree. So all of a sudden now from UGA, it's like, oh my God, you just threw away your entire degree from University of Georgia. How in God's name you end up selling Jamaican black castor oil? So we got a lot of flack for it, unfortunately, even from some of my family members, which I will say some of them are, we won't mention who they are, but now they have come on board, and they were supportive, especially my mother and father. They were supportive in the beginning, we didn't have any farms then, so we had to source people to make the oil for us, but they, both his family and my family believed that we were crazy. We were crazy to do this, and this is not going to work. I kid you not. As I said, they were so big on education that, now we're selling, castor oil to the United States of America. And, it takes so long to boil and to do all of these things. We're just throwing our education for four-year education away, because they had such high hopes for us.
How were you guys making the product at this time? Were you making it in Jamaica and then having it shipped up to the U.S. and bottling it?
That is correct.
Okay.
We have 3 farms in Jamaica, and I know that everybody and their granny is now selling Jamaican black castor oil or their version of it. The only thing that I can speak of is, us at Tropic Isle Living, what we do. What I also want to take the time to say that with the change of, our environment and, as you can tell, global warming is definitely happening. And, we at Tropic Isle Living, we're very proactive. We're seeing a lot of rainy seasons now in Jamaica, which does impact our yield. How are we preparing to meet the demands of the product, so forth and so on. So what we're coming up with now is some really absolute amazing blends with the Jamaican black castor oil. And eventually we're going to have to sell the original oil. We're going to have to sell it in a smaller bottle and up the price because of global warming. Okay, the yield is not the same. The environment is changing. All of these things we have to take in consideration, but we're proactive in doing so.
And what was something, let's go back into let's go a few years back. When was the moment when you realized, wow, this is growing to, you know, to something that we like, you know, when was that wow moment when you realized that the business was picking up and that your Tropical Isle Living was becoming a household name?
Girl, that I remember the day. It's as clear to me now as it was yesterday. I got a call. We were in our house, because at the time we were doing the business in the house here in both New York, and then we moved to Georgia. Okay. 13 years ago, I got a call on my cell phone and I answered it. And I'm like, this is a strange number. And it was one of our clients. And I'm like, so how did you get the number? She said, well, I got the number from your bottle. I think at the time we just started adding to the line, which was the hair food. And she said, I had a question about the product. I said, okay. And I said to her, how did you hear about us? And she said, YouTube. I said, what is YouTube? That was the onset of social media. And she said, lady, you need to go on YouTube and talk and see what's going on. My darling, I went on YouTube and I swear to you, I almost crapped in my pants. Can I say that?
Mm-hmm, yes.
Almost crapped in my pants. And I said, Michael, you would not believe what is happening. And what happened was there's this absolutely amazing young lady called Valerie Berman. She's the one who started that, vlogging or, about the Jamaican black castor. At that time, our label was our label was white and green or something like that. I don't even remember. When we started out. And when I saw, and when Michael saw, we were like, oh my God, this is so bigger than both of us than we imagined. Because Michael and I were like, we just need to provide good, healthy products. Mm-hmm. So for us, it was always about quality. Because we know that once you provide quality, the money will come. And Michael always tell me that Tropic Isle Living is a means to an end, and that we can affect change on such an amazing level, from planting a seed or helping someone else to follow their dream, stuff like that. He had something that's called 1-1 Cocoa Initiative, which I still do in my small ways with my employees, with people, with strangers, with helping out my family, charity. I'm really big into that because somebody helped me and Michael along the way. So you have to pay it back. To whom much is given, much is expected. Mm-hmm. I don't care who you are. You've got to pay it back because the universe helped you. So you have to help someone else.
So once you got that first, social media push, and I feel like this is also when brands started investing in marketing in different ways, how were you guys looking at branding and marketing in order to make sure that you were building the momentum and not letting that momentum die?
We first, then we started changing our website.
Okay.
It was in the early stages, we were more informational, giving out people what Jamaican black castor oil is, how it was traditionally made. We were very extremely big on education, which we are still now, but in a different way as the competitions now come and everybody's, taking, narrative from, what we were doing at the time. Because if you notice, if you go on any website that talks about Jamaican black castor oil, trust me when I tell you, they all use our narrative. So education for us. And as social media now started growing and expanding with all of these hair care challenges, and I think at the time Long Hair Care Forum was starting to blog, and they would ask for me to do an interview and so forth and so on. And I would just, sporadically just do little interviews with people. I think at the time there was really no influence, and they were just forums that people would come and just, as a group of people trying to help themselves out. And I would just kind of like sometimes just, either do an interview like I'm doing now, or go to one of these events. And at the time, with the events and social media, it was now building, and, they were just kind of, organically growing together. So we were growing along with it. And as you can tell, social media has, just grown so much, with Instagram, with Twitter and all that. At that time, we never had any Instagram. We didn't have Twitter. You know what I mean? We just had YouTube, and then I started going on YouTube, and I'm like, oh my God, I don't think this is for me.
You have such a beautiful voice, as I said before, right? Before the interview started. So you could have definitely killed YouTube back in those days.
Right. But I didn't YouTube as much. I would just do talks, and so forth and so on. And people would say I would be there, and, they would post that, I was there and what certain things I said. But now that social media has impacted the entire world, and the way how people now market themselves and how people are becoming entrepreneurs, you have to stay always one step ahead of the game, or I always say, stand in your truth. Mm-hmm. Because, once you stand in your truth and you gain followers, you know what? I think that's the best way to deal with social media, So as I told you before, we're going to have some challenges bringing the pure oil to the marketplace, but we're going to provide you with absolutely amazing blends that I do know work, So that's what I'm doing, standing in my own truth and telling people, this is who I am. These are the products. And that is how you're going to survive the social media era. And I don't know what else is coming. It's, social media is expanding so much. Social media can either make or break you. So you have to be very careful.
So true. And I feel like especially within the beauty sector now, just because there's so many different brands trying to buy consumers' attention, the ones that are authentic, I feel like, are the ones that last. And your audience or your customers know when you truly care about the products, right?
Absolutely. And, if I didn't care about the product, and if I didn't care about influencers and, they're adding value to the company itself, I wouldn't take 31 women that I'm doing now in August. And just the trip is all about thank you. Thank you for being such a positive influence, and, the power that they have in terms of, bringing brands to brand awareness to their mass of followers. And what an absolute amazing privilege, but it's also a great burden, but not a bad burden, but the burden is on them to really and truly, stand by what they believe in. You understand me? And do their research and their due diligence.
I definitely understand that. Over the years, you and Michael definitely grew as entrepreneurs. What do you think were some of the biggest business lessons that you learned that really shaped the business health?
Michael always taught me that patient man ride donkey. And another very wise person who's, also adding value to my business also said, slow is fast. Don't be in any hurry. Don't be in any hurry. That's one of the biggest lessons I learned with Tropic Isle Living. You have to learn when to move quickly if it is necessary, but grow your business organically. I don't know about any overnight success. I have been in business going on 26 to 27 years. And it's now people are really and truly recognizing the brand and who we are, as a company. I've seen competitions, they quickly put some Jamaican black castor oil, and they call it Jamaican black castor oil together and say, it's Jamaican black castor, but if you turn around, you will see grapeseed oil, carrot oil, all of these things. But yet they call it Jamaican black castor oil. So, I've seen that. And while they may be doing quote unquote well, my customers call, and even I have letters that they take the time and say, thank you for still maintaining the quality of your product and being true to yourself.
You know what I just realized? I know what Jamaican black castor oil is, but for people who are listening who may not even understand what the product is or what its benefits are, can you just explain a little bit more about the product and how you've helped people with it?
Right. So the first thing that people need to know is make sure that you are indeed getting Jamaican black castor oil. I went into a big box store the other day, and I'm just going to tell this quick story. And I saw these these Jamaican black castor, and I picked up one, and, thank God I didn't mention their name. I opened it up, and it did not smell like Jamaican black castor oil.
It has a smell. It has a smell.
It has a smell, and it smells nutty. Mm-hmm. Okay. What I want people to know too, if it's dark, if it's too dark, then they have burnt the seeds, right? And if you burn the seeds, then the nutrients are also, there's not much nutrients. It's just like when you're cooking anything, you don't overcook or undercook anything, because obviously you want the nutrients to stay intact. So our Jamaican black castor oil, Tropic Isle Living Jamaican black castor oil, is it's a golden color, or kind of golden to a little brownish. Okay, not too much, because we have found a way how to gently roast the seed, not burn the seed, and extract the oil. So if you don't smell that nutty scent, something is missing. It is not Jamaican black castor oil. In Jamaica, we call this oil, well, I know it as the all-purpose healing oil, because in Jamaica, we use it for everything. For everybody in the United States of America and all over the world know it as a hair care product, but it's so much more than that. I would remember my granny having aches and pains, and she'd warm it and rub it on her feet. So it's also good for arthritis. My granny was also was a doula. They say doula, but we call her bush nanny at the time, which is also a midwife. So she would use it when women are having problems giving birth. She would rub it on their cervix so that their cervix would open up to bear the child, to put the child forward into this world. Not only that, she would put it on the baby umbilical cord to help it heal. Okay, she would rub it on her breasts, okay, for breast health, or her tummy, if she's constipated or having any belly ache or anything like that. And we also traditionally use it as a laxative. Now, I said traditionally as a laxative. I keep saying that, so nobody is going to assume the pants off of me. And I'm not telling you to use it as a laxative. Use it on your tummy, okay? Because people have called and said, you said that. I said, no, I said traditionally. We use it for that purpose. Okay, but it has such a myriad of uses, because Jamaican black castor oil is a carrier oil. It's an excellent carrier oil. And that's, so it has a myriad of uses. If you have cuts on your, or bruises, you can put Jamaican black castor oil on there. I tested the theory when the kids were younger, that they were having scrapes and bruises and they were bleeding. I put Jamaican black castor oil and it stops the bleeding. It seals the open wound, that it kind of like stops it all together, so the blood congeals. What else can I tell you? Oh my goodness,
there's so much there, right? I feel like it's like a wonder product. It does so many things. You just need one oil and everything fixed.
And what I tell people, if they don't know about Jamaican black castor oil, I use Edgar Cayce, the father of holistic medicine, okay? And I don't know if you know about Edgar Cayce, but he would go into trance, and they would record what he was saying. And what he was saying was he came up with formulations while he was in the sleep mode or whatever it was. I just say trance, okay? And he would talk about all the healing powers of castor oil. And so when people ask me about castor oil, I said, we in Jamaica use it for everything. But if you know about Edgar Cayce, read about him and you can put the two together. And the difference with the castor oil here in the United States and the difference in the castor oil in Jamaica is the way it is processed.
When for you, or what kind of relationships did you and your husband, Michael, have to invest in order to also help keep the business going?
If your foundation is not right, the house will crumble.
Definitely.
So our mentors, which was Brother Rashan Abdul Hakim, who is still there in the Bronx making Axtondale herbal product, which is now known as Coromantee.
Oh, I had to drink those Coromantee bitters. Oh, so not good memories.
I was his general manager for 7 years.
Wow.
And I still visit him. I love Baba. I still visit him. And also my traditional master herbalist, Meadow Queen. And she's also from Jamaica. She's in Jersey City, New Jersey, at this beautiful little store in Jersey, and she's making waves. And what both of them taught us is just to stay true to who we are, stay true to our tradition, And we would talk to them. And Brother Rasan and Meadow always believe in knowledge is free. Give it away, because what is yours cannot be on yours. Or we say in Jamaica, where for you can't be on for you.
Yep.
You understand? Because this is your journey. So they shared a lot with us in terms of healing and herbs and tradition and so forth. But I will not forget our grandparents either, my grandparents and Michael's grandparents. And this is why I say people go back to your roots and your culture. Grandparents are such great sources of, and looking into the past that also dictates your future. Because, we live both in the past, the present, and the future in one.
Yeah, we were talking about that before the interview, right? You urging me to take that trip back to Jamaica because I haven't been back since 2006. Yes, I can only imagine the impact of going back and what I'll experience,
Oh, my God. You'll feel it in your soul. It's like when I go back to Jamaica every time, and when Brother Sean and Meta Queen speaks to me, it's like my whole being just vibrate, because I know you can know when truth is being taught, because your body will react. And I thought prior to the interview, I was telling you that, my children are asking me about, how they react to certain things. And I was saying, if you think about it and you look at your body and you go through, okay, this is a big mass, and then you break it through, on a cellular level, your atom, everything like that. I said, every last one of those 1,000 people who you've made up with all these DNA, it reacts to when it's hearing what is for you. Mm-hmm. And it's guiding you. So that's why I'm a firm believer in you got to always know your roots and culture. Whether you were born in Jamaica, not born in Jamaica, born in Ireland, not born in Ireland, but that's your ancestral home, it will speak to you. So go back, my love, go back.
On episode 160, I actually got the chance to interview African Ancestry, one of the co-founders. And so what they do is they give you a test. And unlike the other DNA tests, this test tells you your direct ethnic group. And it's not a percentage. They actually trace like your DNA, your mitochondrial, like your maternal mitochondrial DNA back to an actual ethnic tribe in Africa. And so I was able to find out that my mother's mother and all the generations past through my mother's side, we're from the Tikar people of Cameroon. And that was just so interesting. I got to show it to my grandmother, and she's like, "Oh, I'm from Jamaica." I'm like, "Grandma, you gotta come on, let's be a little open-minded here, right?" And just
because we didn't get to Jamaica on a tourist boat, right? I tell you that.
So I got to explain it to her and to show it to her, and she was like, one day I hope I can go there. And it was just her looking at her being so excited about this place that she never knew that she was connected to. It just made me, it really does emphasize that fact.
It speaks to you.
Yeah.
It speaks to you. And you have got to go back. You've got to go back to Jamaica, and you have got to go back to Cameroon. Because if you hear, a lot of people always go to Africa, and when they go to Africa the first time, it's like, yes, I'm home. You understand me? Because your whole being recognizes it from a cellular level. Your ancestors like, well, I couldn't catch you there because, the massa, did what they did to me, and I died, but I passed through my genes, through my ancestors. So to go back home to Africa or to go back home to Jamaica is so important. You understand me? Because you'll know that this is where you come from. Mm-hmm. This is who you are, and stand in your truth.
Maybe you can tell us about, the legacy that you're, and I don't know I'm trying to find a way to intro this so that I'm paying respect to your husband, and that I'm not summarizing it. So maybe you can tell us about the moment that changed your life and also changed the trajectory, in a good way of the business.
So it was 2014. Michael and I were on a vacation in Montserrat with my girlfriend. And, prior to that, he was not feeling well. And I thought because he was turning 50, he was tired. It was coming up to our 24th anniversary or 25th anniversary of the business, as well as our 25th 24th anniversary, our 24th anniversary. So I'm like, he's tired, but I'm going to just jump and say that the tiredness was not tiredness. The tiredness was brain cancer. And, it shocked everybody because Michael went to the doctor, nothing. He was in good health, everything. But what happened to Michael, like with all entrepreneurs, sometimes we just, we get burnt out. And Michael only had 4 hours of sleep per night for 20 odd years because he was building this business. He believed so much in Jamaican roots and culture and Jamaica and our herbs and what we can bring to the world stage. And he was doing that through Tropic Isle Living. So my life changed for the better and for the worse on January 4th, 2014, I think it was. Yeah. And what they told me was Michael had 3 months to live. And I just couldn't believe it. This is the man I was married to and known for 30 years because I met him when I was 16. And I was so devastated. And when I told him, I had to tell him that this is the option. You have only 3 months. And, I told the kids before, and I said, guys, we have got to be brave, because we're going to fight this. And when I told him, he said, well, I saw it go, meaning it is what it is. Mm. It was never about finding a cure, but moving forward, it was about quality of life. And in that instant, I was struggling with so many personal issues, with regards to family, extended family and growing a business and, haters and non-haters and all of these things I was just so focused on at the time, because when you're growing and you can't take certain people with you and certain people try to take away from what you're doing. And I was dealing with that, and Mike was trying to help me. My darling, when I tell you that I had to take care of him, and I had nurses in here in my house because I did hospice at home. I had to go down on my knees and said, God, take everything away from me that is hindering me from taking care of this absolutely amazing man in my life. In that instant, I decided to forgive, forget, it doesn't matter, because what was facing me was much more important, which was to give my husband that I've known for 30 odd years and married him for 24 of those, is to make our life the best life possible while he was here. We never spoke about the end. He wouldn't allow me to do it. We did a ton load of stuff while still, doing his chemo, and we never believed in chemo, and we never believed in radiation. But there is, and I will tell you this, there is a reason why, these things exist. And this is the reason why I'm so very, 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 very firm believer in preventative medicine. You know what I mean? Because while we do everything to make sure that we are healthy, and Michael was absolutely healthy, certain things we can't fight with preventative medicine, okay, because the body goes awry. Then traditional medicine comes in. So he took the path of chemo and radiation. And through it all, that man never complained. He said to me, Lord, I'm not afraid to die. I'm not afraid to die. And when I tell you I lived a lifetime in 19 months, and I learned so much, and I love him more than ever. Because what I learned is that life is so fleeting. And every challenge that you face, and every time someone hurts you, and every time you move the bar forward in forgiveness and love, it is for your betterment, not for theirs, but yours. Mm-hmm. So this is the reason why I say no matter what I'm facing in this life, Michael gave me the greatest gift of all, which was taking me on a journey and close to my Creator, close to what it means to love in spite of everything. It's a gift that I try to explain, but I cannot explain. Mm-hmm. I remembered when, 3 days before he passed, and he wasn't talking at the time because that's what brain cancer does. It shuts you down. And he would sign language, and he would say to me, or, he would indicate that he wanted to say something, and I would guess, and I'd guess, and I'd guess. And this man asked me to pray for him. And I said, what do you want me to pray for? And then I'd write it down, and his hand couldn't, and I'm guessing. And he said, pray that God take me. Now, I know the end was coming, and I know it would come, but I had to pray for him, so I did. So I prayed for him, and, the day he passed, he was surrounded by love. And this is the reason why I say in this life, it's how you live your life. It's not how much you have. It's how you inspire. It's your character. It's who you are. That really makes your memory live on. Nobody had a kind or a diskind word to say about my husband, because he lived his truth and he helped as much as he could. Mm-hmm. So he was surrounded by love. And when he went, I kissed him. And I thank God for his life. And the days that followed were just incredible and amazing. And, so my absolute change and my enlightenment, and I've always been on this road, but the lesson that I learned from my husband in death has carried me through my many challenges now as a Black-owned business, a Black person, and a woman of color, and no matter what I'm facing, and it seems so insurmountable, I just remember Michael saying to me, don't worry, man. Just be still, slow down and stand back, and just see the Creator work, because he always said creativity is boundless, Lois. Nobody can take it away from you. And, he was so funny. He said, things are just things, you can't take it with you.
Yeah, that's what my mom says all the time.
You can't take it with you. So for me, people always say, Lord, you're so humble. How you're so humble? I said, because I sat at my husband's feet. And my God, who I believe in, that carries me all the time. And that's how I know that, when I leave this world, I will touch people's life in a positive manner. And I always try to do the decent thing, the right thing. I wouldn't say that it was easy. It was hard. But nothing in this life that is worth fighting for ever comes easy. It doesn't.
I don't even know how to say this question, but when I hear your story and I watched I'm going to link to it in the show notes, the story that you told on YouTube, the 3-part story, there was just so much love there, right? And I feel like when we think about relationships, when we think about just our capacity for love, especially in our society today, we don't see that so often. Where do you think, how were you guys able to sustain that love through the years?
You know what Michael always said to me, and I'm a firm believer in, we are all connected. Mm-hmm. We're all connected. It doesn't matter if you're from this family, that family. If you think of a root of a tree and you see all these trees, and if you really think about it and you stand back and you're like, you wonder about the roots under the ground are all connected, and they're still living in unison with one another. And Michael always said to me, when one of us in this universe do well, we all should celebrate, because that is moving the bar forward. And for me, I learned to be, and I know some people may say, I learned to be a better person from this amazing man that taught me, you don't necessarily have to go to church to be a Christian. because he didn't go to church often, but I learned to be a better Christian from my husband. I learned about what giving is in spite of not even having much. Because, what you give to the universe, you will receive 10 times fold. It is just the law of the universe. So people, they choose to love, they choose to hate, they choose to do bad, and they choose to do good. I choose to do good all the time. In spite of when people are trying to tear me down, I still treat them well. Mm-hmm. I still do. I have let go people, and we are still good friends in my own organization, because I always say the end has to be a good finish, not a bad one. You understand me? We may not walk the same bridge again, but our paths will cross again. Mm-hmm. So I choose to do good. I choose to do good.
There was a quote that I also picked up from the story you were telling, where he said, now it's time to find your dream in my dream.
Yes.
How are you finding your dream in your late husband's dream and continuing to build the Tropic Isle Living legacy and story?
Oh, my goodness. So I'm going to just jump back a few to explain it, because then you'll understand. I have my master's, my BA in psychology. And I always wanted to help women who were less fortunate, who had self-esteem issues and so forth and so on. So at the time when we moved to Georgia, I took another job as a interior design manager for a firm, and to supplement our income while the business was growing. And the best thing they did was lay me off. That was when the economy tanked. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I was out there looking job and still working with the company, not realizing now that we're making money. Okay. Because at the time, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because this is what I wanted to do. So one day Michael said to me, Lois, I really don't know why you're looking job, Don't you see that we're doing well? I said, but Michael, this is your dream, not my dream. And that's when he said, why can't you find your dream in my dream? Don't you see you're helping women like you wanted to, but by providing them with good quality products that makes them feel good about themselves, that makes them help to grow their hair and their self-image? Don't you know you can do that? Don't you know you can do talks and you can give and give and give to people who are less fortunate? Why can't you find your dream in my dream? And that's when I stopped looking another job. You can find your dream in someone else's dream without taking their dream away. You can.
You guys have done so much. I feel like just within the past year, I follow you on social media. I'm friends with, Stephanie, who is your publicist, your PR. Like, there's just, I just get, every time I see you guys post and see you out here doing stuff, I smile, because in my head, your brand has always been like a household name in my household, right? That's if you go into my my medicine cabinet now, Jamaican black castor oil, right? That is a staple. And I'm just so blessed that we were able to have this conversation. But what can we, what's next for you and for the brand?
Okay. It's so funny. Michael asked me that question prior to his passing. Mm-hmm. This was when he was talking. And he said, so what are you going to do? I said, what do you mean? And I remembered we were in the bathroom. And at the time, I think he was losing his ability to walk. And so I was assisting him in the bathroom. And he said, I mean it. What are you going to do? This is your company now. What are you going to do? And he gave me two options. He said, you can either sell it if it gets too stressful, or you can run it as a business and make it your own. Obviously, I chose to run it as a business and make it my own. And then he sat me down and he said, okay, so what are you going to do? So I said, first, because I was missing in action. I used to go to the office. I said, first, I'm going to shore up the foundation like you taught me. Okay, so I went back into the business and I did that. And then he said, so how are you going to make it your own? I said, hon, I'm going to do what we started out to do. Our company was first called Tropic Isle. And then he's added the living. And the reason why he added the living was because Tropic Isle Living is not just about Jamaican black castor oil. Tropic Isle Living, we have an approach of a 360 degrees of health, mind, body, and spirit. So what can you expect from Tropic Isle Living? Absolutely amazing hair and skincare products. What can you expect from Tropic Isle Living? Absolutely amazing and creativity clothing that everybody stops me and asks me, where do you get your clothes that I make? So we're launching at this hair show called Ubiquitous, which my absolutely amazing beauty broker is now pushing me to do. See, you know, people always, give you the answer, as to when you think you should jump. And now I have taken a leap of faith. We now have Tropic Isle Living resort wear, where I import these absolutely amazing prints from Kenya, from Greece, from India, all of these, and make them into a resort wear. And then we also are going to be doing like clays and so forth, ceramics from Jamaica. Expect every and anything from Tropic Isle Living. Living in nature, living in harmony. People are saying that I should do a podcast. I do have that. Expect anything from us in terms of living in your own truth, doing the right thing, the decent thing, bringing humanity forward by planting good seeds wherever you go. That is what Tropic Isle Living is all about, the natural and the traditional way to an amazing, healthy, beautiful you.
That was such a beautiful way to segue into our lightning round. Lois, this has been, before we get there, I just want to say thank you so much. I feel like your spirit is coming through this microphone and my headphones right now, right? There's just something about your spirit that I know when our listeners, our dream drivers hear this for themselves, they're going to want to listen to this interview again. I can't wait for us to finish just so I can go back and listen to it,
Okay.
But let's get into our lightning round. So this part of the interview, I'm going to give you a prompt and I want you to tell me the first thing that comes to mind. And remember, we're sticking with our whole dreams and drive metaphor. Okay?
No problem.
So the first word is park.
Be still.
Reverse.
Dial back.
Neutral.
Weigh your options.
Drive.
Be fluid as water, a force to be reckoned with.
And if you want to be a dream driver, you have to have your keys to success. So can you tell me 3 things that you think every dream driver needs in their toolkit before they hit the road?
Absolutely. Stay true to yourself, which is absolutely important. Be grounded. Makes you learn and absorb and know exactly where, things are. Mm-hmm. And the other one is not as easy to swallow, which is welcome challenges. It leads you to growth.
That is something I think I know I'm embracing that. I'm going through I want to say a period of change in my life, and it's stepping outside your comfort zone. It's not always easy, but the reward is what is important,
great.
Right?
Mm-hmm. It's very great. It's good. Remember now, good and great is in the small details.
Yes. So where can our dream drivers find you online or learn more about Tropic Isle Living? If they want to check out the products, even buy something, where can we find you?
Okay, obviously through our website, tropicilliving.com. And I've now been forced to do some podcasts, and they can find us on YouTube I'll be doing more YouTube videos, at the house, in the office. We're also moving to a new facility where people can just drop on in and visit us and even be a part of the process, what else? Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, obviously, I can't wait. We're going to Curl Fest this weekend.
I'm going to go. Are you going to be there? Are you?
Absolutely.
Okay, well then I am going to stop. Are you guys going to have a booth?
We have a booth.
Okay.
We're rolling out an interesting look that fits the traditional. And we're having branded coconuts and, bags and giveaways, a little bit of giveaways, not too much, because the last time, that giveaway got me in trouble. It was a good giveaway, by the way.
Wait, what was the giveaway last year? I got there late last year, so I might have missed it.
I gave away a trip to my house in Jamaica, fully paid.
We'll talk about that later. But okay. Well, listen, I'm excited you said that because it's my plan. The only thing that will deter me is if it rains, but I plan on being there because I have asthma, so I don't like getting stuck in, like, I don't want to be in the middle of the park and I'm drenched. And so that's just my biggest thing, but I plan on being there. So we will meet. I'm
going to give you a little thing about how to help you with that. Okay. You're going to do honey.
Okay.
A little bit of pimento oil. Mm-hmm. Okay. If you can find it, I can probably send it to you. Because we had a product like that, and this is how the protein conditioner started, because I used to give away the ingredients and tell people what to do. And a little bit of camphor. And anytime you're going out and there's an inclement weather and you think it's inclement, just take a little bit of that with you. Take some first, okay? And that will help you with your asthma. Okay. You understand me?
Right, because that's always my biggest fear. It's like I don't really have bad asthma, but when I'm wet, it triggers it.
It triggers it. You don't want that. Just if you think you're going to go out, just take it before. You understand? Even if it's not raining, and then you take it a little bit after, and then you can cure asthma. Don't tell anybody that it can't be cured. Anything is possible. My love.
Yeah, I find out like my diet. My mom, when we were younger, I grew up in a holistic household. She took out anything dairy, but it was as I got older. I'm like, I love my ice cream. I love my cheese.
So you're behind paying for it. No.
Yes. So I've been trying to limit. It's the ice cream that I really love, but I haven't eaten ice cream in about 3 weeks, and I'm very proud of myself.
Good for you. Juice. I'm a firm believer in that. And when you juice, don't make sure that you as soon as you juice, or if you go to a place that does juicing or green smoothies or something like that, you drink that right away so you can get the live enzymes. Okay.
Well, thank you so much, Lois. This has been phenomenal. And I just have to say thank you.
Oh, you are so welcome, and thank you. Because you know what I keep telling people? I see myself in you as well as you can see yourself in me. I was there once. And once people, I'm you and you're me, if people recognize that, and that's where the love comes in. Because if you can see yourself in someone else, you're not going to hate yourself. You're going to only love yourself, right? And when you're doing Reina, stop. Be still. Everywhere you go, right? Just stop and be still for a little bit and you'll see. That's all I will tell you. You'll see. People don't slow down long enough to see the beauty of everything that's around them. Mm-hmm. And as I said, that's what Michael helped me to do. I slowed down to see the beauty of everything that's around me when I was trying to build the business, taking care of him and everything. So I'm very deliberate in what I do. Mm-hmm. When things are going haywire, just slow down. Stay in neutral. Just, slow down a little bit. Mm-hmm. So I like what you said, park, reverse, neutral, and drive.
Dreams and drive, baby.
Yeah, and drive. Okay. So I wish you all the best, my love.
All right, so that was a wrap for episode 164 with Lois Hines. I hope you enjoyed hearing her dream driving journey as well as her keys to success. If you love this episode, guys, you know what I'm going to say. Please share it with a friend. I believe that so much of what Lois mentioned in this episode can inspire somebody, can uplift somebody, and can give someone hope. So please help me get the word out about this episode. Make sure you're following us on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook. We are Dreams and Drive across the board, and you can use the hashtag Dreams and Drive as well when sharing. And remember, when you're tagging us, I will always go back, retweet, repost, and give you guys shout outs. I appreciate the love. If you have not already entered our giveaway and you want to win one of Tropic Isle Living's signature Jamaican black castor oil, just go to dreamsanddrive.com/win. That's dreamsanddrive.com/win. So I have a few announcements this week. please, please, please help a sister out. Help Dreams and Drive out. I'm really trying to clear through all the inventory so that we can make room for new merchandise in the fall. So if you want to get a Dreams and Drive t-shirt, they are now $10 at dreamsanddrive.com/shop. We are also selling Dreams and Drive crew necks and Dreams and Drive hoodies for a very low price of $20 and $24 as well. So just go to dreamsanddrive.com/shop. Stock up on gear now. Stock up on your fall gear now. I would really appreciate it. Please help me clear through this inventory. If you're not already part of our Facebook group, you can come on over and join us at any time. We are Dreams and Drive Mastermind if you search us on Facebook, or just go to dreamsanddrive.com/Facebook. All right, I have to do our Dream Driver of the Week shout out. And this one is coming from our Apple Podcast review. So if you don't already leave reviews or haven't left a rating, please do so. I love reading them, and I love just learning about what you guys think about the show. So this one is coming from Miss Duhaney, and she says, awesome and inspiring. I love this podcast. I am currently in the process of making some exciting transitions in my life and career. I love Raina's organic approach to creating topics around the guest model for success. Thus far, I have loved and learned so much from each episode. My favorites thus far is the episode with the founders of Harlem Chocolate Factory and African Ancestry. Keep up the great work, Raina. I also think it is dope you are of Jamaican descent, just like me. Yes, girl, bullet. No, but for real, I do appreciate that. And reading these make me inspired and encouraged to keep going. I think sometimes we don't always know the effect that our work has on other people. So if you have a favorite podcast and you haven't left a review, not even just mine, anyone's podcast, I'm telling you, it means a lot. And an Apple Podcast, it also helps with ratings and getting other people to come on and check out the show. So if you want to hear yours read in the next episode, you know what you got to do. Go on over to Apple Podcasts, leave a rating, and then hit the write a review button. As I promised, you guys have something special to look forward to in September. The month of September is going to be Minnesota only. So I'm still trying to schedule in topics. So if you have any suggestions or you have anything that you want me to discuss or you want me to bring up, now is the time to email me, DM me, message me, because in the next week or so, I'm going to start recording those episodes. All right. Two things. I still am looking for sponsors. So if you guys are interested in sponsoring an episode in the fall, please email me, Raina at dreamsanddrive.com. And I don't think I ever mentioned this on the direct episodes, but if anyone is interested in getting Dreams and Drive screensavers or Dreams and Drive computer backgrounds, you can download those for free at dreamsanddrive.com/free. That's dreamsanddrive.com/free. All right. Keep dreaming, keep driving, and we'll chat again in episode 165. Bye, guys.